Downing, and I was wondering about the shape of the race as well. Sam, it crossed my mind that there's a possibility that Greek Kodiak could get a freebie on the lead here.
Yeah, I could see that. Whether he's good enough to hold on or not, I don't know.
Quite.
But yeah, he should give him an early lead anyway.
Yes, it's just whether he's good enough to hold on, whether he's in the right kind of form, and whether he stays that far as well. I mean, everything's set up, but then you've got the doubts at the latter part of the race.
Absolutely, and that there are doubts over a number of these, really. I mean, the market is just centred on two of the runners. Harlow's been well backed all day, and Pentimento has also attracted good support. Everything else is for a ball of chalk, essentially. Obviously, with Harlow, you've got Will Buick back on board. This combination teamed up to win with Furcan the other day, so you know the weight of money and the connections. You'd have to think that Harlow would go close with everything looking ready for a big run. And I thought there might also be a little bit of improvement to come from Pentimento for that first run back. I didn't think he shaped too badly at Newbury. I don't think he's a winning machine by any stretch of the imagination, but he is becoming undeniably well treated at the moment, and that race at Newbury has worked out quite well with the likes of Involve winning again, Tell William in fourth and Francisco Bay in sixth, all obliging subsequently.
I'd be more confident about Harlow at this trip than I would Pentimento. It's not just the pedigree with Pentimento, it's also the fact that he's so keen in his races.
That's a problem, and that's why I wouldn't mind to see, or connections of Pentimento wouldn't mind seeing Greek Kodiak taken on again, and a similar scenario to the last race where a good strong gallop and suits the closers and those that are switched off, because I think he will need that just to drop his head. I mean, especially at a mile and a quarter. I'm hoping that with racing and the fact that he's just got a little bit of fizziness out of him for that first run, that he might be ready to deliver a decent performance, and obviously Adam Kirby a good booking for that.
Could you come up with any reason for Isle of Wolves' poor run last time?
No, and I don't think the vets did either, did they? We haven't seen any explanation really for that performance, but if you strike it from the card, the run before gives him a major chance here. Certainly in a race where you can't really be positive about too many of them. I mean, One Cool Daddy, the trip, the surface, big question mark. I Did It For You's a big price, given that run at Kempton where he was, lane 12 all the way around pretty much, and for a 200-to-1 chance ran an absolute blinder.
Hence his mark as a move, I'd imagine.
Natural ability and. Yeah, and Born to Please, would she want some cut in the ground as well? So that there just doesn't seem to be too much strength in depth here, really.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Yagood, he's got to bounce back to the form he showed for a different yard in a different country. Creaser Cymrig's got to show form on turf for the first time, although there was more encouragement last time, to be fair to that horse.
There was, and at least you've seen Voir run really well out of the race, so that's a slight, positive. And I thought he was keen enough as well, to be honest. So I think the step back in trip with a reasonable gallop should suit.
Yes, yeah, tend to agree. Coming forward quite nicely now for our fourth race. So, were you tempted to have a bet here at all, Sam?
I've put Pentimento in some multiples, and that's as far as I went.
Righty-ho. Bolder than me. This was a watch it, I'm confused kind of race for me.
Yeah, it does have all the hallmarks of that. It could well be a boil over, but I just couldn't find the outsider really to back. I Did It For You would probably be the one with more upside than most. Yes,
I can't help but feeling that there'll be another day for that horse, and it isn't just yet. I mean, it was a 988-day absence that he was coming back from when he ran fifth at Kempton with that wide trip.
Yeah, and if there had been a bit of juice in the ground, and the first round track time didn't really suggest that that was the case, then I think the bottom horse would have made some interest at a big price as well, given that Mark Usher's had a winner over at Chepstow this afternoon.
Yes. Just some issues down at the start. George Downing is off One Cool Daddy, who is perhaps not living up to his name. 3 stalls handlers gathered around him. He's just flicking his tail a little bit. It is still very warm here at Sandown for an evening card, and they're just going to try with a blindfold to get him to go forward. Just to reprise, Sam and I expecting Greek Kodiak to make the running from stall 7 with no obvious other contenders for the pace. One Cool Daddy is so cool, the stalls aren't for him. But eventually I think they're going to be winning the fight. Too cool for stalls. I think he is going to go in. I think he's just kidding them, isn't he? What do you think, Sam? He's just kidding, isn't he? Yes, he is.
Yeah, he doesn't look too keen to me, to be honest. He probably likes the sand beneath his toes, doesn't he?
Absolutely, absolutely. He can feel a lot more relaxed on the all-weather. Just one more then to go forward once they've managed to inch One Cool Daddy that 1 inch further in, which I think they have achieved. So excellent. So just one more to go forward for the second division of this Surbiton Handicap over 10 furlongs. Let's join John Hunt.
Lydia, welcome back here, and they're all now set to go. 1.25 miles. They're off. Jumping away, One Cool Daddy, a little bit reluctant to go into the stalls, was slowest out of him as well, as Crusoe Cymrig sits towards the rear of the field too. But it's Greek Kodiak who takes the field along. Greek Kodiak from Isle of Wolves, who is within 1 length in 2nd place. Then in 3rd races Pentimento. Pentimento has got Harlow behind him in 4th position. One Cool Daddy's recovered a bit of ground now and has just gone past Born to Please in the middle of the pack. And then I Did It For You, followed then by Yagud and Crusoe Cymrig right at the back end of the field, giving this leader, Greek Kodiak, about a 10-length lead. Greek Kodiak then sits overall just 1 length clear of Isle of Wolves, back in 2nd place. Pentimento Against the Rail is in 3rd and Harlow in 4th under William Buick. Close up now in behind those two, both Born to Please and One Cool Daddy. Then there's a gap to I Did It For You, and after these Yagud with Crusoe Cymrig right at the back end of the field still. So they've been strung out for a while now. The pace, though, hasn't appeared to be that hard as Greek Kodiak leads from Isle of Wolves to the outside. Pentimento in 3rd place and 4th for Harlow. We'll see shortly if Harlow truly gets this 1.25 miles. In behind him in 5th place is One Cool Daddy, who's now rushed along. Similarly, Born to Please is pushing a few buttons on the wide outside. It's taking a while for Yagud to warm to the task. I Did It For You, who switches to the inside running rail, and Crusoe Cymrig is still in with a chance here. Has come right back on the bit and starting to move through runners as well now. Watch for the blue colours, white cap. Can he sustain this run? He's going well now on the heels of the leaders. Up front, Isle of Wolves. On the far side, Pentimento. Crusoe Cymrig is coming between them. And then Harlow towards the outside with Born to Please. Crusoe Cymrig's made this big move. Comes to the front here ahead of Isle of Wolves. Harlow back in 3rd place looking 1 pace. Then Born to Please. Crusoe Cymrig, as the line comes up, is still a length and a half in front. Crusoe Cymrig went through them like a knife through butter, and to score well from Isle of Wolves. Born to Please on the outside, and Harlow next.
Crusoe Cymrig, Raul de Silva and James Evans teaming up to win, and this is the horse's first win on turf, I think I'm right in saying. So far better form on the all-weather, but today, having been given a really patient ride, dropped out at the back, has come through, as John was saying, really readily in between horses. You can see him there with the white cap, Raul de Silva, taking aim at the horses in front. Isle of Wolves has bounced back for a good second in the hands of Kieran Fallon for Jim Boyle. Born to Please the Mare is 3rd for Mark Usher and Martin Dwyer, and 4th is Harlow for William Buick and Ian Williams. But the winner has done this readily, Sam. Yeah,
lovely performance, quickened up in the style of a horse that, where's he been? You know, he should have been on the turf a while back, achieving these sort of performances. But James Evans does extremely well with a small team, doesn't he? And I liked his run at Yarmouth. I just didn't feel as though he quite saw it out that day for whatever reason, which is strange, really. Maybe he's getting a bit quicker as he's getting older, in contrast to the rest of us. But he's certainly moved through that race well clear of what you felt that he was capable of a mark of 63. I mean, he's a pretty exposed individual in some respects, but he's tanked through that, travelled very well, quickened up well, and maintained the great combination or the great understanding he has with Raul da Silva, who gets on extremely well with him.
Better run from Isle of Wolves. This is much more like the consistent Isle of Wolves that we know.
Yeah, really solid performance, wasn't it? You know, as you would imagine from that horse. Just for whatever reason, there was a complete blip that day at Newmarket. Strange race in some respects. Obviously, Wimpole Hall winning quite comfortably, and just the 4 runners. You know, horses can have off days, and he certainly bounced back there. Pentimento,